Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Now in today's video we're going to be having a look at this wheel rim by VPG Sim. This is the V-RSPG and as you can see it's beautiful. Now before we get cracking, the usual spiel. I am not a reviewer of products at all, that's not what I do, but I am a sim racer just like you, so those are the opinions that you're going to get, those of a sim racer. Also, a disclaimer, I haven't paid for this wheel rim, although I don't get to keep it either. I've got to send this one back. This is a review test unit, sad face. So I've got to send this back, so don't get to keep it. But VPG Sim, don't see this video before it's published at all. They've got no influence at all in what I say. My opinions, as always, are my opinions. So you might remember a few months ago, I tested the VPG Elemento formula style wheel rim. You should be able to see that up here now if you want to go and click it to have a look at that video. And I had nothing but good things to say. Now when Manny from VPG sent me a message saying, look, do you want to try out this new wheel rim? I couldn't wait. Now there are 4 things that I look at when buying a new product. Firstly, how does it look? If it doesn't look right, well, I'm not going to buy it. Secondly, what's the build quality like? Thirdly, how does it perform? And lastly, is it value for money? So before we go into those categories, I'll just give you a quick overview of the features of the wheel rim. So it may look like a Porsche replica rim, but it's not marketed or sold as one. But it does look like one, and I don't think that's a bad thing, because I think they look incredible. So yeah, it does look a bit like a Porsche rim, but it's not sold as a Porsche replica rim. It's got 12 LED backlit buttons on the front, tactile buttons. Now these are all controlled by the Sim Hub software, which is used to control the screen. Now all of the telemetry from the sim goes through Sim Hub, and you can configure all these buttons to your heart's content. So in a couple of the videos that you may have seen on my channel when I've been using this wheel rim, the top buttons there are flash when I hit the rev limiter. Then there's spotter left and right on the top, and you can configure those literally to your heart's content. It's got 4 automotive grade rotary encoders on the front, and it's got 4 automotive grade thumb encoders towards the top. Now, what is automotive grade? Well, I don't know what that means, apart from you use it in the automotive industry. So they are what you would find in a real car. And I've owned a lot of nice wheel rims, the GSI Onyx wheel rim, and I've got a Rexin GT wheel rim. These feel completely different in a good way. When you're turning these rotary encoders, it really feels like you're turning something with a little weight and a definite click. Although it's not too hard to push, but you're not gonna push these by mistake. So these feel absolutely incredible. The same on the front. It's got a 4-way funky switch on the front there that you can see. Well, you might not be able to see it because it's quite small. There, so a 4-way funky switch. It has injected molded grips, and it's got the Nexion display on the front. Now the Nexion displays can sometimes be a bit tricky to configure in Sim Hub. They're a bit of a pain. However, VPG have got their own software, the VPG configurator that you run. That sorts out all the COM ports, and it's all done through there. You don't really need to do much in Sim Hub at all. And once you've installed it, then you can configure or choose your dashboards from within there. It loads it to the wheel rim itself, and then Sim Hub just displays the data. So it's got a 5mm forged carbon front plate. On the back, we have some carbon fiber paddles. So on here, we've got the normal paddle there. Then at the top, we've got the extra paddles. So those are an optional extra. And on the bottom, we have the dual clutch. 70mm PCD for the quick release, which is just your standard quick release. So we'll go into the 4 categories now. So how does it look? Well, for me, I think this looks stunning. I'm a Porsche guy, and although it's not sold as a Porsche replica rim, it does look like a Porsche rim. And I think that the design and styling is beautiful. The way the encoders are positioned is perfect. The button layout there, the way it just curves up outwards, perfect. The way the screen is integrated in. You know, there's no plate on the front, which makes it look boxy. It looks really, really nice. It's just smooth integrated there. Really, really nice. On the back, the small towers there where the quick release is mounted. I think that looks stunning. Paddles look beautiful. Yeah, so looks wise, I'm a huge fan. This is my kind of wheel rim. So let's move on to build quality. Now, I tested the VPG Elemento wheel rim a few months ago, and Manny from VPG said there was a small scratch on there that they would never send out to a customer. So it's just made from scrap material that they would never ever use. Now, I couldn't find the scratch on there. It looked, to me, it looked perfect. And it's the same story with this one. So this is made by, or made from scrap material that they would never ever send to a customer. And I can't fault it. Literally, I cannot fault it. I've been over this wheel rim many times trying to find a fault, and I can't find one. So the quality control at VPG is literally off the scale. Everything works as it should. Everything feels perfect. All the buttons, the rotary encoders, the paddles, just everything. There's nothing kind of amiss at all. Even the little circlips. I'm looking at the little circlips thinking, oh, there might be a dodgy little circlip. There isn't. There's nothing. I literally can't fault the build quality on this rim one little bit. So let's talk about how it performs. So I put this on the rig and I came directly from the Gomez Sim Industries wheel rim. Now, I went into the sim and the force feedback felt like it was going to break my wrists when I put this one on, because this is light. This is so much lighter than the GSI wheel rim that it replaced. Because it's lighter, everything felt a little bit more detailed. All those little details in the force feedback seem to be felt now on my fingertips where they couldn't previously. And the force feedback just generally seemed a lot stronger and a lot snappier than it did. So I found myself having to turn the force feedback down a little bit. So you find that with any wheel rim on your sim rig, the lighter the wheel rim, the more detail you're going to get from the force feedback. So that's the one thing that I noticed straight away. The actual ergonomics of the wheel itself, for me, they felt absolutely perfect. All the buttons were well within reach. All the rotary encoders were well within reach. The paddles felt really nice. Dual clutch worked fine. It just felt a really nice wheel rim to hold in my hand. And I've had some nice wheel rims. You know, I've got a couple of really, really, really nice wheel rims in there that I've not even looked at since I put this on. So let's talk about price. So nice things don't come cheap. It's a fact of life. That's just the way it is. Nice things aren't cheap. So for this wheel rim, without the third paddle on top, so just with the normal shifters and the dual clutch, is £1,249 plus VAT. So you've got VAT on top of that. For the third paddle, if you wanted to add this third paddle on the top, well, it's another £80 on top. So it's expensive. But as I mentioned, nice things aren't cheap. Now I've got the Gomez Sim Industries wheel rim, which is expensive. I've got the Rexin GT3 rim, which is expensive. So would I spend my would I spend my money on this wheel rim? Well, the answer is a definite yes. And I've actually placed an order with Manny for one of these. So I'm going to buy one. That's how much I like it. I just need to decide what colours I'm going to have the rotary encoders. Now, Manny says that there's a sticker on the front here. Just this here, there's a sticker. Now, all that's carbon fibre under there. Now, because it's got a sticker on, you can't actually see it. So you can see the carbon fibre on the top, but you can't actually see because of that sticker. So Manny is going to change the stickers down here. So this whole front part, well, you'll be able to see the carbon fibre on there. Apart from that, I would not change a thing about this wheel rim. I think it's absolutely perfect. Looks beautiful in my opinion. Build quality is off the scale. It performs incredibly well. Everything is where you want it to be. So ergonomically, perfect. Price-wise, yes, it's expensive. Nice things don't come cheap. But in my opinion, well, it's definitely worth the money. When I think about the money I've spent on wheel rims previously, this is by far the nicest wheel rim that I've ever had in my hands. So this isn't a sales pitch. Like, please trust me, it is not a sales pitch. The links that you'll see in the description below, they're not affiliate links at all. So I've got absolutely nothing to gain by saying that this is good. Buy one if you want. If you don't like it, don't buy it. It's up to you. There are other alternatives out there, so fill your boots. I'm just saying this is much, much better than any pictures would suggest. Honestly, any pictures that you'll see on this video don't do this wheel rim any justice at all. So thank you to Manny from VPG for sending me this wheel rim to test. Also, thanks to Manny, because I've got to now tell Julie that I've ordered one of these wheel rims and spent a lot of money. As always, thank you for watching. Have a great week. See you later. Cheers.